So when I was 13 years old, I was on a family vacation with my cousin who was super mean to me because he was 6 months older, which meant that he was the boss. And my mother had brought these books for me to read, and they were the Harry Potter books. And there were only, oh my gosh, I'm such a fan too. There were only 3 of them so far, and I read the first one on my flight, and it spoke to me. It was this beautiful story about friendship and like figuring out who you are, and I wanted to write books like that so badly. I wanted to be a writer after I read Harry Potter, and I wrote books, but I never really, I never really thought I could become a novelist. And then when I was 18, I read Looking for Alaska, which had just come out, and that book blew me away too. And it spoke to me again. I just kept finding these books that felt like really powerful moments for me. And I was like, I really do need to write books for teens. I need to write books that are powerful moments for other people.
When I was 8 years old, my family moved to a new town, and I didn't know anybody, and I had no friends. And there was a little library, and I could ride my bike there. And every morning I rode my bike there, and I took out a Nancy Drew book. And I love Nancy Drew. And I would take the book home, and I would read it. And then the next day I would go back and I would return it, and I would take out another one because I didn't have another human being to talk to all day. And the librarian was so nice, and she never said to me, why don't you go out and play with your friends? Because if she had said that, I would be like, I have no friends. And I think one of the amazing things about books in my life, and I think maybe for many of you, is that they're always there, and that the characters in books that you love become people who you love and become friends who you spend time with. And to have the opportunity to do that for other people was an extraordinary one.
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up reading The Babysitter's Club and Sweet Valley, and I love Sarah Dessen, was always like one of my big favorites. I really liked the way she wrote kissing scenes, and I wanted to write kissing scenes like that as well.
What is it about, because I love reading YA, and I'm not a teenager anymore, but what is it about like high school stories that make it so novel-worthy, that make it so worth writing and reading?
I think when you're in high school, you are dealing with really huge things, love and friendship and obligations that are going to impact your life for many years to come. And adults tell you that you don't understand and nothing you're dealing with is really that important because you're just a kid. And that just drove me crazy. Like the idea that love isn't really love, it's just puppy love, and that grown-ups understand and teens don't understand. And so the chance to write about teenagers who loved things passionately and felt things passionately was really important to me, and it's been super fun. And I agree, I also really like to read YA.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started How to Love, which was my first book, when I was 16. So I wanted to write stories about people who were my age and who were going through some of the same things that I was going through. And you know, that feeling of being in love with a boy and looking at him from across the room and feeling like you're not even a blip on his radar. And you know, as I've gotten older, I've kind of stuck around YA because I feel like the emotions that you experience when you're in high school are these super intense, super important emotions, and you know, that's just such fertile ground for storytelling.
Yeah, I love stories about firsts. I'm really always drawn to firsts because when I think about it in my mind, I always remember the first boy who I kissed. But like maybe the 7th boy, it's like, oh, wait, who was that? Wait, no, you know, it's not quite as impactful. So I love writing stories about firsts, and I also love writing books for teens because like you guys are trying to figure out who you are and trying to like make sense of the world. And I think a lot of answers come from stories and from songs and from things that, you know, that hit you in a big way when you're a teenager, or at least it did for me. So I just love the fact that like somebody can like take a book and, you know, take something from it that's like really important to them. So I love teen fiction for that reason.
I was really curious.